Come on, Kurome, please.
For the last time, Kaizo, my answer is no.
But Joshua did a commentary on Mr. Enter.
And why should I care? I don't care about either one of them.
I'll feed you his corpse if we do a co-op on him.
Well, in that case, fuck it, let's do this shit. I like my corpses bloody rare.
Note to self, always bring up the topic of corpses to convince Kurome to do co-ops. Hey guys, this is TheKaizoNewt, and it's time for another commentary. And for this introduction segment, I will have my partner Kuromefan95 introduce the video we're commentating on.
Well, what do you get when you mix in a Sonic recolor that's been infamous for years in the commentary community with a reviewer who also doesn't seem to listen to criticism? You get this video.
That's right, today we'll be analyzing Joshua Colbyhouse's second commentary on Mr. Enter. Now, we could just stop there, but trust me, it gets a lot worse. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started.
This intro sure takes me back to the days of edgy Sonic recolors flooding the internet. Well, at least it's short.
Seriously, Josh, your intro just reeks of laziness. All it is just a picture of your OC with text and the Shadow the Hedgehog theme playing in the background. And if you want to use the excuse of Movie Maker, well, I've seen people make better intros than this one in Movie Maker.
In this version of the show, the Powerpuff Girls have been moved to grade school. Miss Keen has been moved there too for some reason. And you know, I'm not too bothered with this. In principle, the girls going to an actual grade school helps the show relate better to the target audience. And there is much more room for stories in an elementary or middle school rather than a kindergarten. However, remember what I said about cohesion? This show has none between episodes. If you want to have the girls in a grade school, you cannot have episodes like Little Octi Lost, where Bubbles brings her stuffed animal to school and thinks they could actually catch a softball. In elementary school, she's at an age where she's getting to be too old for that. Especially if the rest of her peers would start picking on her for hanging on to childish behavior. You know, considering getting bullied for looking like a baby was the first thing that happened to her when she actually came to school. In Horn Sweet Horn, Bubbles gets fun of for believing unicorns exist, but she doesn't get fun of for having a stuffed animal throw a sports game. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Okay, I'm going to start telling. Every time I turn that picks a certain point of the show, I'm going to mark it. As for Enter, you do realize that a certain part of the episode will not destroy the entire show. There has to be enough flaws that aren't nitpicks in order for it to be considered bad. Sure, you can nitpick if you want to, but there's a certain amount of nitpicks you need to make. And the problem is that he doesn't realize that they are nitpicking.
First problem I have here is how hard it is to understand you, Joshua. You're mumbling for most of this segment. Secondly, why is it a problem if he doesn't realize he's nitpicking in comparison to nitpicking because he wants to? And finally, while that tiny detail won't destroy the show like you said, it's still out of place, so complaining about it could be justified.
Is it an ice cream party? Early dismissal party? UFO party?
Okay, I know that everyone talks about the voice acting, and for the most part, I don't mind it. It takes some getting used to for most of them, but there are two voices I just can't, I literally just can't even. They're Princesses and Buttercups. Since Princess isn't even here, let's talk about Buttercups.
What about the grammar lesson? I thought it was, really important or whatever. Huh. Have you seen Bubbles? Yeah, we're unhappy. Oh.
The voice actress is trying too hard to sound like a boy. You know how adult female voice actresses play male children, right? This voice should be used for that. It gets really distracting, and it makes it seem like Buttercup is being a poser and faking her tomboyishness, overcompensating because she's insecure about it. And that's not her character at all.
Hey, Joshua, you alive? Cause besides adding a counter to the video that will get old really fast, you are where you can skip parts of the video, right?
This is giving me horrible flashbacks to the sitcom. Hold me, mommy.
It's okay, Kurome, we're halfway there. Just gotta hold on for a little longer.
I get it, I really do. They want to change up the personalities a little, make the girls individuals, which is why none of them are in the same class, for instance. But being an asshole for a main character trait, this is usually reserved for those totally radical shows They try to show off that their hip and edgy main character is a total rebel. You know, like Otto from Rocket Power. To the extreme!
I actually thought I feared her character. Sure, the voice sounds forced, which is a nitpick, but I think why it works here is because she's getting to the point where she thinks she's old enough to think she could do what she wants. It's not an excuse, but it's understandable.
How was that supposed to debunk him? Saying that Buttercup's personality is understandable but not excused isn't doing much in your favor here, Joshua.
So a kid comes running by, and Buttercup trips him because she can do whatever she wants because everyone else is high on ecstasy. And she is not because... Okay, it's never explained why the Powerpuff Girls are not high on ecstasy right now.
I thought it was obvious. The Rainbow is strong enough to take control of them. Seriously, you have a brain enter, use it!
What the crap did you just say? Also, Enter was stating that in the episode, no one explains how the Powerpuff Girls are able to not be on ecstasy.
Maybe Rainbow Shit will help us get through this fucking video as well. One can hope.
Ponium, who is busy, leads them on that the rainbow might be causing all of this.
The rainbow? That's why everyone's acting so tweaked? Oh.
See, we use slang. See, we're cool like you. Please think we're cool. After we pissed everyone else off, it's all we've got left. So the girls fly up into Uncle Grandpa's barf. Hey look, it's Panda from We Bare Bears. And he's high on ecstasy too. Okay, so let's see. We've got main character designs from the original show. We've got background characters from Clarence. We've got environments from Uncle Grandpa. And now we got a villain from We Bare Bears. Is there anything in this episode that the people working on this show actually designed for this show? You know, I could paste a bunch of random assets from random shows into Flash too.
Hey, I'm Allegro, the happiest panda in the world.
This guy is a villain, right? God, he's not even threatening enough to be like a joke villain that gets beaten up 5 seconds into a normal episode of any superhero show, merely to kickstart the plot.
Never mind that his power is threatening in a certain way where it causes chaos, it just doesn't look threatening. Don't worry, I'll be getting to this part soon.
Why not get to this point now since it's relevant? Seems a bit redundant to me to pull the getting back to this point later card since there's less than 3 minutes of the video left.
Okay, here's a problem that I've noticed that was most consistent with all of the episodes, even the more tolerable ones. The pacing of the stories. The pacing is absolutely shit most of the time. Sometimes they linger way too long on certain scenes, like here in the Panda's Rave, which takes up about half of the episode. At other times, they move too quickly, like the anarchy down below. You're supposed to show that this joy is bad, and to do that, we're gonna need to see a little bit more mayhem.
I thought there was enough mayhem. You see, Enter, there is little time that they could show the mayhem. If they let go too quickly, it will leave others confused. You also need to keep kids in mind.
What? Just saying I thought there was enough mayhem doesn't prove Enter wrong.
Adding on to that, keep kids in mind? What, so kids shows can't show mayhem unfolding now? You know, this show's not aiming for toddlers, Joshua. The kids watching this are old enough to see a little bit of cartoony violence that doesn't involve someone being in the receiving end of it last time I checked.
Allegro hits Blossom and Bubbles with drugs. Oh, and the girls start twerking. So, I'm sure that you're tired of this criticism by now. I'm sure that even the detractors of the show are getting to be tired of this criticism by now.
For the sake of time, I'm going to skip it, but I will agree if they were going to skip the sexual things that they should skip it entirely. If they want to show the girls dancing, avoid dance moves that are sexual.
Josh, if Enter didn't acknowledge the part where Blossom and Bubbles were twerking, that would mean that Enter would be skipping a huge part of why people don't like this episode.
So, the happiness zombies try to get Buttercup to join them. I mean, any competent show would have a trigger for this problem. You know, Buttercup makes a wish or sign a deal with the devil. You have him! But nope, Buttercup wants something and coincidentally that thing sort of happens karmically.
Isn't you? The town needs us.
Just like you can't get away with plots like Little Octagon if you want to have the girls in grade school, you can't get away with statements like that and have most of the plots that are slice of life that have little to do with fighting or combat at all. The girls haven't earned that self-importance in this show.
But there's a time and a place for having fun and doing what you want, just like Miss Keen was saying earlier.
And Buttercup gets that message with no prodding at all.
Aside from people goofing off to the point where it causes chaos and Blossom and Bubbles said that the town doesn't need their help at all. Yeah, there's no prodding in this episode.
My god, your points get harder to understand as this video goes on. But from what I could make out, You seem to disagree with Enter with how out of nowhere Buttercup's attitude changed, from wanting to have fun to being responsible with no prodding involved. Problem is, with the timing of the episode, there really wasn't anything major that could have been seen pushing Buttercup into that mindset. I mean, sure, she saw the chaos unfold with everyone being all happy, but she didn't show any major signs of it affecting her mindset.
That's all I got to cover. Final thoughts, enter, filed to review, you depict the repeated story reports.
Okay, Josh, I really don't think you know what that word means. Nitpicking. Adjective. Looking for smaller, unimportant errors of flaws in order to criticize unnecessarily. While Enter's points may be interpreted as nitpicking, they were still details that were out of place in the episode. And with that, the video is over. Kurome, you want to give final thoughts?
Gladly. I have a few points to cover here, so bear with me. Your biggest issue in this video, Joshua, was how hard it was to even understand a word coming out of your mouth. Your arguments were either laughably easy to debunk or virtually non-existent, and to me it felt like you only made this video to attempt to look relevant, as if commentating on Mr. Enter all of a sudden makes you cool. Problem is, the commentary community have moved on from this guy. I think you should do the same.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, this has been TheKaizoNewt.
And this has been Kuromefan95.
And we wish you all a good day.
Wait a minute. Where are my promised corpses? You lied to me, didn't you?
Vote for Donald Trump! La 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 la.
Come back here. I will kill as many people as I have to as long as you're one of them. You know full well genocide is just a game to me.